Howdy, howdy.
All right. Welcome to another episode of LightSaber Radio. Obviously, today we're going to be discussing the season finale of season 3 of Mandalorian. It was entitled what, Tori? The Return?
The Return.
The Return. The Return of what? I don't know. But we'll get to it. Obviously, talk about that and predictions for what might be coming up. CJ had a couple good ideas. But first, let's, as always, drop the intro.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
At last we will reveal ourselves.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
You are now tuned into LightSaber Radio. If you only knew the power of gods.
Here it comes.
Let's go.
You are now tuned into LightSaber Radio. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello there.
Hello there, indeed.
Yes, hello there. All right.
Hello there.
What's up, Chris in the chat from 10,000 feet up. Chris is planning on joining the Mile High Club while watching Lightsaber Radio. I like that. Infected Actual. Hey, guys. Beautiful night here. Yeah, it's a pretty night. A little hot
It's-
for me.
Whatever, you're in hell. I would
How,
kill
how,
for at least
what's
a
the
fraction
weather
of a-
like? What's the weather like in Idaho right now? Is it still snowing?
No, it's not snowing.
No, it's
Oh, okay.
actually
God.
been bipolar as hell today, where it doesn't know if it wants to be sunny and going into summer or if it wants to rain and continue to be in spring. Right now, it's only 45 degrees and cloudy though.
It's been in the 90s the past couple days, so yeah, we're back to summer.
I did lose my
Well, not
voice
yet.
for the
It'll
first
get
half of the
100.
day, so I'm glad that it came back.
Chris has said, no, I already got fucked by Disney with the 3rd season. Thank you very much. Here. Hey, yes. All right.
I don't agree.
Team leader is here.
Team leader. I love how they
Dion.
painted red marking on IG-11 just so they could sell another toy of him. That's right. Hasbro's good marketing right there.
Dion is here. Infected. It's a nice breezy $60. Choose 60 here.
Lenny says the thoughts of the ending gave me Mr. Miyagi training dojo vibes. Oh, Daniel-san, Grogu-san. All right. Well,
I hate this already.
what did y'all think about the episode? I think to be honest, I think it could have been better. It was probably the best episode we've had of the season so far, but that wasn't like saying much, to be honest, because the highest I ranked any other episode was like a 6.
Yeah.
So,
everybody can be.
You just had to beat a 6
overly-
for me. I think CJ, the highest you ranked was like a 9 for episode 2. So, what would you think? Was this the best episode of the season?
I loved it, but last episode was better than this episode.
Oh, you think so?
Well, with how they ended the cliffhanger and how they just left it with Paz Vizsla dead on the ground was probably the best way you could end an episode of oh great, what the hell do we do now?
I see that. I did like the sacrifice of Paz Vizsla. This episode just seemed a little bit, I don't know, kind of like the easy way out. Like, just kind of, let's hurry up and write like a happy ending. And it was like the easiest way to get to a happy ending, I thought. So, I don't know. I kind of wish they would have given us a cliffhanger. And none of our predictions came true.
Nope.
Not even close.
Which
I
I
mean,
am totally okay with.
I knew the Mythosaur was going to be in the episode. I just thought we were
I
actually going
love
to get to
that
see a bit more
Grogu
of him.
sensed him.
It wasn't that it. So, Caitlin, my sister-in-law, actually watched it with me, and we had a little bit of a conversation about it afterwards, because we had the exact same thought before we saw the Mythosaur, right after Din Djarin, because his last name is Din.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because it's Din Grogu. Going back to that Japanese and Asian culture,
Yeah.
last names are always first.
Like last names first.
Yeah.
Jaren Din? That sounds stupid.
Yeah, but it's Din
Let's
Djarin.
not. It's
Anyway, before Grogu was adopted by Din Djarin,
Thank you.
you could see that he started to kind of look down, and Caitlin and I were sitting there, we're like, okay, either the Mythosaur is going to come up, or he's communicating to the Mythosaur, and then it just goes down into the water deeper and deeper as he takes that step and looks down into the water, and then the Mythosaur's eyes pop open, and we're like, oh yeah,
Right.
Grogu's going to be the one riding the Mythosaur. He's going to be the Mandalore. Like, this is how it's going to go. We've already seen him communicate with animals before. He's going to communicate with that Mythosaur. Mythosaur is going to come up.
Right.
It's going to be Grogu.
It's not going to be.
Okay, I do have to point out Chris's. Instead of a cliffhanger, we got a Looney Tunes outro. Seriously, like that was super. I was like, come on, dude. Like, really?
I didn't think it was Looney Tunes. I think how I saw it was, first of all, we get an ending that isn't a cliffhanger, for once. And second of all, we already know that season 4's scripts have already been written. It has already been confirmed. Filoni has already come out and said, yes, I wrote all of the episodes, all of the scripts. They're all written for season 4. If it just made me feel like it gave you that sense of accomplishment, kind of, at least for me, where first of all, we don't have a cliffhanger. Second of all, if we didn't know that season 4 was already in the works, that everything was already ready to go for season 4, that would be a nice closure for it was just a nice ending.
I don't know. It just felt like, yeah,
Daddy
it just
Din
felt a
Djarin.
little bit cheap and fast
Daddy
and like,
Din Djarin
come
has
on.
been confirmed.
Yeah. Okay. Was anybody really like? Yeah, he's like, I will adopt him as my own. I was like, I thought you had already done that. Like,
Not
we've
officially,
been on that path for a while now. Nobody was surprised by this.
I was just waiting for Bo-Katan to kind of be up, like, jump up and be like, oh yeah, and I'm his mom. Like, just.
Yeah. Chris makes another good point. Biggest missed opportunity from this episode was not having a huge space battle between the Mando gauntlets and the
Yes.
TIE fighters. What happened to the TIEs after shooting in the capital ship? Yeah, they had a big fight scene, but I feel like it could have been so much more. We could have had the space battle. We could have had fighters on fighters. We could have had, starships on starships. Then we could have had the ground combat. We could have had people flying in. Like, it just, like, I don't know. Plus, the entire time Din Djarin is sneaking around and fighting people 2 at a time. Where's the reinforcements? Is like nobody saying, "Hey, Din's in here." Like, no, they're just gonna leave him alone.
No, I think the whole thing is if he hadn't figured out a way to get out of there, it was going to be like. So say we had one more episode left in the season, I think that if he hadn't found his own way out, that it would have been the next thing is, okay, now we got to put a plan together to go get Din. But since he did, like, I think they were just focused on getting the mass out, because like I said kind of last week, Bo-Katan has already lost everything, so she wasn't going to put everybody in a position where she could lose everybody again, or she leaves one person who knows that they can handle themselves if need be, and then just go back for him later. But R5 was randomly on planet?
Yeah.
It
Like,
wasn't random.
just-
He left.
I
him
mean,
there.
he was there before, but it was just kind of
I
like,
didn't remember that.
we
He
haven't
left
heard
him
from R5 in how long, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, R5's there. Totally
I do
forgot
like-
about him.
I do like how it was kind of cute a little bit, and he was like, sorry, bud, don't speak binary. Just get it done.
I don't know. So in order for me, I guess the first kind of issue I had was like when Din Djarin and Grogu are sneaking around. One, nobody sees this giant ass robot with a frog in it, and that's just normal for them. And they're having like full blown conversations while they're trying to sneak around. Nobody hears them. Nobody's walking down the hallway. This is supposed to be Imperial base. They just happen to waltz through without being
for an-
seen, without being
And for an
noticed.
extremely tactical, like military, like not military based, but like aggression kind of based community as the Mandalorians, not one of them was tactical through
Yeah.
that entire thing.
I'm like, yeah, and we're supposed to look at these guys like these guys are supposed to be amazing at combat, but they're a bunch of chumps. Like, no tactical. The clones were more tactical than this. So yeah, that was one of the things that bugged me. Then
There's
when
a lot of things that bug me, but you don't hear me calling the most
What?
dominant fucking culture in Star Wars, other than Sith, chumps.
they looked like chumps in this episode,
They did okay. So
in
like,
all the
bring it-
episodes,
well,
they just
yeah,
kind of
but
looked
even-
like not as badass as they were made out to be.
Even bring it back to last week's episode where you had people in the middle of a firefight, not even looking for any sort of
Cover. They're just standing straight
cover.
up.
They're
getting
just standing up. None of them are trying to like. There was no tacticality.
Yeah.
Tactic.
I mean, yeah,
Not
their
the word.
whole
Tactility,
culture
tactility.
is training. Their whole culture is training around being warrior. But really, the only thing that makes them better than an average trooper was the Beskar armor. Other than that, they are just regular people.
Chris does bring up a point that I thought about while watching
Yes.
the episode.
I
The
had
plot in
jetpack.
This episode is also called for
Yep.
unlimited jetpack fuel, and just forget that they ran out of fuel when they were chasing the pterodactyl.
Yep, I had that in my list. That was later on. The next one I had was when, what is his name? Rex? Axe. When Axe is he's in the spaceship by himself. He goes and sits down in the chair while all the TIE fighters are coming after him. And the TIE fighters conveniently just pass all the landing craft, all of the Mandalorian ships, just to go attack that one. Just conveniently right past him, no worries. Let him attack our base. Let's just go get the big ship. And
Oh,
he's
yeah,
like
forget the
controlling the whole ship just from
50,000.
his little chair. He just like, I'm going to take a seat in this little chair. Controls the entire ship. If he can control the entire ship from this little chair, what is the point of the rest of the people on the ship?
Well, I mean, just because you can doesn't mean that you like. It's the same thing with captains on like ships. Like the captain can pilot the entire like ship. Pilot, steer, captain. I don't know.
Steer.
Like sailing ships.
But he can't fire
Like-
all the cannons. He can't do all the sails,
No,
well, depending
he
on what
can't.
kind of ship you're talking
But
about.
that's I don't think that it showed him like, because honestly it would be humorous, but there's no point in just a scene where Axe just runs from station to station arming all of
Yeah, so leave
the
like a
guns.
crew behind to help the guy. Like what? Him being by himself just didn't make sense on the ship. Like
But
number one, number
I
two.
will say-
Are there no shields on this thing?
none.
Not a single shield.
I will also say that this is the first time that we see the armor with a jetpack.
That's true. We did see that.
Not the first time we see her in combat, because we kind of see it when she's, just murking all of those troopers with her hammer, just sitting down calmly
Right.
at her makeshift forge, and she just goes after. But it is the first time that we see her in air combat with a jetpack with her Phoenix, Rising Phoenix.
Yeah.
Rising.
Yeah,
Phoenix.
Rising Phoenix.
And her
Okay.
CGI flying around hitting people. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
dark saber belongs to Axe now, technically.
The LightSaber does not belong to anybody. It is fucking gone.
I mean, how
No, it technically belongs to Axe. Because
did I miss it?
yeah, dude. Because think, she loses it to Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon dies by Axe crashing in his ship into there. Axe
Oh, it does.
defeats Moff
technically.
Gideon. Axe is officially the owner of the dark saber.
Technically.
No, it is by combat.
I mean, they
Flying
were,
a fucking
Combat.
ship into somebody is not combat.
They were.
But
in
shooting a
combat.
bullet into somebody's combat, same thing. Tools are tools.
And without tools, the Mandalorians are nothing.
Yes. Without their Beskar armor, they're chumps.
That's what we learned from Moff Gideon this episode.
All right. That's my rant. What about you guys? CJ liked it.
Go ahead.
I just, I'm kind of on the same page as Garrison with the small little nitpicky things. I truly enjoyed the episode. It was a cute little heartwarming episode. It was adorable as, the Praetorian guards are going after Grogu, and my heart sunk a little bit, but I also knew that they weren't going to get rid of Grogu. But my heart sank a little bit as the guards are closing in on him, and then the door's shut. I'm like, oh, well, his robot's down now, and he's just jumping around, and then I hear him laughing, and that's adorable. in the face of danger, the tiny frog just laughs. But there was, it was really cute how, when Axe put the ship down and, got rid of Gideon, and Bo-Katan has her little arm shield up, like that's gonna do anything against the fire, but she still put it up and was covering Grogu, and both of them were covering Grogu together, and it was like, oh, little family.
But meanwhile,
moment.
Grogu saved both of their asses.
Oh yeah, and then Grogu's like, fuck you, I don't need you. I'm older than both my parents.
At first, I was about to be kind of upset because they all like kneel down in front of Grogu, and I was like, what's that gonna do? You're all gonna die. And then I saw Grogu using the Force, and I'm like, okay.
Technically, Beskar would not have let the flame through. It just, I don't know how Beskar doesn't heat, so if anything, it would have just boiled them from the inside. Bo-Katan is the only one that
Moff
would have
Gideon supposedly died, but who knows?
Died by boiling on the inside.
Yeah, I mean, if those if they can survive the cold vacuum of space, because he's literally flying into outer space to get to his giant ship. Like they were blasting each other with flamethrowers to no effect.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
first of all, if you're gonna be in a fight with somebody who's using Beskar, the whole fight scene to me seemed a little bit weird, because if you're gonna be in a fight with somebody who is also wearing Beskar and your weapons are supposed to be against someone who's not wearing Beskar, because there's only two things that can cut through Beskar, and that is Beskar and lightsabers.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are doing absolutely nothing. How is this fighting getting anywhere? Because your blasters aren't gonna work. Like, the fires with your flamethrowers obviously aren't gonna work. Like, you're gonna have to get into the soft spots of the armor. Like, the whole thing was just a little bit weird to me. But, whatever, makes Filoni sense.
Yeah, I mean...
But I thought it was pretty heartwarming. If we didn't already have a Season 4 confirmed, it would have been a cute little ending to Mandalorian. Din randomly, somebody said it, Din randomly he lost his jetpack, so he's now wearing one of the other troopers' jetpacks.
The trooper jetpacks.
Bo-Katan finally had that moment of pure redemption with herself, not with the Mandalorians, but within herself, or Moff Gideon has her down, destroys the saber, and
we're strong together.
Yeah, without your tools, you guys are nothing. Mandalorians are nothing. Well, we're always Mandalorians. Our strength is in ourselves.
It was. I was literally thinking. I was like, it reminded me of in Planet of the Apes. Ape together, strong. Mandalorian together, strong.
Oh my god.
I was like, oh my gosh. That's literally what I thought of.
But all of us, I gotta say, all of us so far, without knowing anything about Season 4, were wrong about the armor.
We were.
And the sketchy feelings that we all had against the armor. It was really nice to see the forge lit again, and that Bo-Katan was the one to do it.
And all the clones, none of those were Cloak or Snoke or Palpatine. It was himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted Grogu to make
Force sensitive.
Fucking 12 Force sensitive Moff Gideons.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Clone, yeah. And that's
that was
really nice. It was really nice to get some sort of closure and a solid answer about what Gideon wanted with Grogu, because we always knew it was for the Force abilities, but we didn't know if he was going to possibly put it in himself, or what was going on. So it was nice to get a solid answer on that. Overall, I thought the episode was pretty cool. There was a small little nitpicky things, but I'm not a huge nitpicky person unless it comes down to the music, and I didn't seem to find any issues with the score. Then again, I only watched it once, so I'm sure if I watched it again and actually paid very close detail to the score, I would find something. But
yeah.
Team leader says they messed up the pics Bo on the credits. They had her with her night owl crest and not the new crest on her shoulder. I did not catch that.
I didn't notice that. Chris says Do you think they will go back and rename the episode 7 The Spy? Yeah, because where was the other one? Like,
Right?
So, the
was a
credits-
misdirect.
Hold on. Let me pull up Team Leader's comment office. The credits are concept art for every episode. So when they write the script, they get concept art and throw it up. And as they're going through and filming, they do add and change things and take other opinions. And sometimes they ask the actors. There's so much to it than just that. The concept art's just pretty much, it comes with the damn script.
But
That's how you sell. That's how you sell a certain scene. You throw a photo up and be like, "See how badass this would be? This photo proves it."
right.
But there was only one spy in episode 7, The Spy. There wasn't multiple, unless you wanted to look at the spies as
Unless it's yet to be determined.
that, or if you're talking about all of the Imperial soldiers or leaders that Moff
They're all
Gideon was
spies.
talking to. Yeah,
They're
I
all
mean,
spies.
technically, they all have little spies everywhere.
There's
There's Thrawn still alive. There's, all of this other stuff. So obviously there are more spies elsewhere. We just did not get to, meet them.
We will meet them in Ahsoka.
Oh.
What up? What up?
Hey,
What's
hey man, how
up?
about you get the hell out of your car?
It's like CJ
I figured
now.
why you did it.
Hey man, I did it and it sounded amazing.
I just
We
want
all
to
talked
say
about
that
this.
I have never done it out of my car.
I have like 15 episodes where I've either done it in my car or the service truck, and it was awesome. But is it my
All right.
turn? Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So for my turn, I'm gonna be real about this. You guys suck.
No, I
Hold
loved
on,
the
you guys.
episode.
You guys suck. You're being nitpicky. Okay.
Nitpicky?
There are some nitpicky things that I do not agree
well,
with.
somebody had to take over Kyle's spot.
I don't like the nitpicky thing.
You
R5
know
is
me.
not the other spy, Lenny.
No.
He's the spy. Well, take that. Well, I mean,
Do
I
not
mean-
disrespect my droids like that.
he kind of is though because he led Carson Teva to the Mandalorians. So I mean, he kind of was a spy.
I
He
mean,
was
All right,
a rebel,
CJ. So
but
why are we too nitpicky? What's good about this episode?
all of it.
All of it? I
This
just
whole episode.
pointed
Hold
out
on.
reasons that weren't.
This whole episode was beautiful. You pulled up Axe Wolf and the shields, I'm going to pull that up right out the gate. Okay. Why put your shields up? If you're going to sacrifice a ship,
Die?
hold on, hear me out. If you're going to sacrifice the ship, like Axe decided to do, wouldn't you kind of want to make them think that they defeated them? They shot down the ship. The shields, they couldn't generate the shields. They didn't know how to work Imperial tech. So you got to think that, right? So they're thinking they're winning. Another thing, you nitpicked on how do you miss a whole convoy of Mandalorian ships going into the atmosphere? You do not get any readings until you're out of that storm. When they hit the storm, they couldn't scan them. Can't nitpick that. They made sure that made sense.
Fair.
They reiterated that 3
Not
times.
even
fair. Well, because if you look at it, Axe was in communication with Bo-Katan and everybody else until he hit that storm, and then all communications went out.
Until he broke through and could see the ship. And then he could hit
So
the
no
comms.
radar, nothing.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's nothing.
I see.
There's-
Okay.
Okay.
So they
That's why
just
they
flew
had-
right past
you
him.
can't-
Okay.
That's why they had to land in order to scan the planet.
So you can't nitpick that. I'm sorry. As a great decoy, you fly that fucking ship and make it seem like they're winning because you know how Imperials are. They'll take any tiny little W they can get, especially as pilots.
True.
So you let them believe that they took down the ship. They're going to try to fly away. And think
They're not
they
going
won.
to land? They're not going to go back and land?
Hell no, you see the ship crashing into that, I wouldn't come back either.
Yeah, so
Shit's
they're not
getting
taking a
serious.
W. They just realized, oh, fuck. That's
Well,
not a
yeah.
W.
Well, they took the ship down, so I mean that's the W. It's where it landed was not the W there. So they're 50-50 there. What else did you nitpick? The Mandalorian armor thing.
armor thing.
How
The full-on
like,
conversation while sneaking
yeah,
around.
the combat.
The unlimited jetpack fuel.
Okay, so that the jetpack fuel I will hit that because that does make sense. How do you do that and then not like how do you do that one episode where we don't want to use all the fuel and then all of a sudden you have 3 tanks on a little jetpack that can fly you around? I don't care about that because the way they flew in and attacked those troopers was probably the most badass entry of Mandalorians I've seen.
No, we were talking about when Axe went through, when he went from underground and made it somehow into the atmosphere above the storm on jetpack.
So we don't know. So my biggest thing is we don't know how much they hold. All right? We don't know how much they have. At that time where they did that, we don't know if they have refueled anything. They had any fuel to refuel them.
Okay.
We don't know if they run like a gas car where you have a certain amount of miles, or you run like a diesel and you can go for a little bit longer than most cars. We don't know how they run. So I don't, because there's no explanation behind a damn jetpack.
No, you gotta have some crazy power to get out of the atmosphere.
But I mean, yeah. Oh, and he's gone. Well, life choices. But I mean, I enjoyed every aspect of this episode. I do agree with the fact that if they weren't going on to a season 4, bye, Lenny.
No, I think you say
Oh,
bye
no,
to.
I know he was
Kyle.
saying bye to Kyle. Oh,
Nah, I don't know what's going on. My earpiece wasn't working.
but
Oh, gotcha.
I could hear y'all, but when I was talking, it wasn't working. I couldn't hear. Y'all couldn't hear me at all.
Oh no, I haven't heard anything yet.
Yeah, no.
but
Now I hear you
I
though.
honestly
Okay.
think if they would have ended it in season, like right now they say they ended the show. Let's just say, Pedro doesn't want to come back. A lot of the actors don't want to come back. I can be happy with what happened here. Mandalore is restored. Din's riding off into the fucking sunset with Grogu on Navarro, which I think is fucking horrendous. I don't know why you'd go back there.
Well, to me, it just seemed like, what was the point of this whole happy ending if you're gonna have another like you could have at least had another like maybe not a cliffhanger. Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
You didn't have to have another cliffhanger necessarily, but like making it like a cheap, cheesy, happy ending. Like, what was the point of that if we're gonna have another season?
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you, but I think their point here, as I end my little statement, we can jump to Kyle. I think their point with that, because this is where I was going with this, I think their point with that was that they're going to time jump.
Probably.
I think they'll time jump about 5-10 years, where Grogu is a little bit bigger, speaking more, and something arises, as in like Sabine Wren.
Well, you know they're
the
leading.
Rebels.
You know they're leading it
Ahsoka.
to the movie. They're leading
Yeah.
into the movie, the main movie.
Yeah.
My whole concept on the show, I like the show. Like the things that I didn't like were very minute. You know what I'm saying? The story played out. It played out from the second part. We knew that they was taking over Mandalore, so they got Mandalore. I thought it we left on a cliffhanger. I thought that the armorer chick was going to be. We all thought she was going to be a traitor. We thought Axe was going to be a traitor. You know, a lot of things happened, and we were completely wrong with our predictions, which is okay. But I like the fact that I was wrong, because that lets me know that they're thinking outside of the box. Because if everybody figured out what was going to happen, they would have kind of. I swear, I think everybody in the world thought that they was going to ride a mythosaur.
Oh, yeah.
I think everybody in the world thought that. And for that thought to come true, I was kind of disappointed. The one thing I definitely thought was going to come true was it was going to leave on a cliffhanger, and it did it. But I also think that John wrote it that way for the simple point of, what if they cancel the show? Then it's canceled on a good note. Because you don't ever know what Disney is fucking doing. I mean, shit, 1 minute we getting something, the next minute it's gone. You know what I'm saying? They could cancel the show. So end it on a point where, you know what I'm saying, everybody could be cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, the third season wasn't the greatest. By no means. It was probably the worst season out of all of them. But at the same time, it was still there was enough episodes in it that made it good enough that it could stand. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I look at it. This last episode wasn't the best, Cause like when the droid comes down, when it turns to go down the little probe droid, whatever they're called, the little mouse droid, that shit was the worst. Like you seen the thing back up and move, like the editing was just all fucked up. Like what the hell? Then there was several times that the editing was just all so bad. Like what the hell? But it wasn't enough to like. The story still was good. The battling was awesome. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't like the thing with the battle. I didn't like you burning each other. Like they're burning Din, and he just like,
dude, I didn't get it. These things are fireproof. Why are you throwing fire at each other?
That's what Garrison and I said. Is
So
all of the battle was is Beskar against Beskar.
Hold on. So let's throw this out there. You and me, Garrison, let's go to war. You were in full tack, I'm wearing full tack. You got sunglasses, I got sunglasses. So flashbang still gonna fuck you up if I throw a flashbang at you?
100%.
Okay, so flamethrower in a dark shaded visor. As it hits your helmet, it's still smoking. You can't see shit.
Okay, you
wonder,
can't
though,
see.
hang
So
on,
why
so-
not hit him while you're burning him?
So-
They just
so
sit
who
and burn
said-
and then stop. Now tackle me.
I have a really quick thought. Like, okay, so what if the helmets and the tinted T-visors and all of that, so I don't know if any of you have put on a welding helmet, but I have, and CJ has. Like, there's auto dim helmets. Like, do you think
Right.
that the helmets are auto dim?
I mean,
So they're
I don't know.
I mean,
all
if
the
you can
time?
breathe in space with the fucking helmets, they should probably have auto dim.
Even though there's no like actual seal or anything that happens, it's just like, psst, okay, cool. And
It's
I'm a droid lover. I enjoyed the cute little droid thing that happened with the
would've-
mouse droids. Those were the most like.
No, I
somebody
just
said in the-
I
and
didn't.
That was the most aggressive.
Why can't I see the
mouse
chat?
droid. That was the most aggressive
On
mouse
your phone,
droids.
you have to press chat, and then it blocks your whole screen, and you can't see
Oh,
us.
that's-
So I
Yeah.
Oh, that's
don't.
stupid.
You can only see one or
I'll
the
never
other.
check out the chat
All right.
when I'm on my phone.
So
Anybody
so
that's
the
saying
mouse
anything in the
droids-
chat, you guys got to commentate that because I can't see the chat.
Right.
This shit
So
sucks.
I think my favorite thing
should've brought
about
my
that
laptop.
R5 and mouse droid thing was I honestly wanted a more R2 moment that we saw in Revenge of the Sith where he shoots the oil out and then hits his jetpacks and lights them on fire. I would have loved that more from R5
No, he
as
just-
a screw it kind of moment. No, he pulls out his tiny little taser,
He just
shocks
got
one.
annoyed at him.
He shocks one. I would have lit him on fire. I'm sorry, he shocks one and they all run. Little police droids. They all had little cop lights on them.
They were adorable.
I just didn't like. I didn't like the editing because if you watch when that first one comes down that hallway, it's almost like it goes back in time. It's like goes down and it's like and then it stops and then it goes back a little bit, kind of turns and then it goes back forward again. Like what the hell was that? It just was real bad editing on that part. It looked just so just fake.
I didn't see
And then-
that as people going as it like going back in time. I thought it is like he was like on patroll, quote unquote.
No, you can-
as their little police.
You
can
can definitely tell that there
It's
was.
the
You could
same
tell it was a
It's the
glitch.
same recording. They just rewinded it. You can tell they
Yeah,
did not
you
want-
could definitely tell that was a glitch.
Wait,
You
when?
can tell. So with
When the little
droid-
mouse droid goes down the hallway.
Uh-huh.
So you know how the mouse droid goes by first, and R5 is back there doing his little thing, and then he turns to go down the hallway towards R5. If you're looking at that, he's going down that hallway, and then it just stops, and it kind of backs up and turns a little bit, and then it goes back forward again, and you're like, you can just
They
tell it's a
replay
glitch.
it. Right.
You can tell
okay.
it's a glitch bad, and I was like, oh man, that's terrible. But I mean, there wasn't a lot. Most of the almost all. I think I heard one blaster bolt that was off. And I mean that there was a lot of blaster bolts going on, so it was kind of hard to tell anyway. Like I really had to listen to it. The second time I watched it, that's when I caught it. But I was like, dude, is it really a blaster bolt that is off? Because there's so many blaster bolts going. But they were shooting. It was like you seen a person. I think it was Bo-Katan was shooting, and she shot the gun or shot the thing. The blaster bolt came out, and then it was like a good second before the sound. But it was like, was it blocked out because of the other stuff that was going on? It was when they was flying down in the tunnel and stuff. So,
Okay,
but
I gotta say
the
this,
action-
though.
the action battles was good. I love the way that Grogu, you know what I'm saying, saved Din. I love the way that Din came back and saved Grogu. I did not like the fact that Din and basically Grogu whooped the fucking the Imperial guards. You know what I'm
I
saying?
loved
The
that.
Yeah,
Presbyterian
they
guard.
definitely nerfed him. Chris is right.
Yeah, that was kind of just like, dude, it would have been way harder to beat them guards. Like them guards are super trained and they're force sensitive. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if you go back and you reread Dawn, all the Praetorian guards are force sensitive, but their forces, they're like not even as strong in the force as like somebody like, you know what I'm saying,
Jedi.
like an Inquisitor.
They're not full on Jedi, but at least they
Nah,
sense it a little bit.
they can sense force, they can sense things happening. So I was like, dude, it was not that I'm not happy that Den beat him, because I thought Den was going to die, and I was kind of disappointed. I love Den, but you know what I'm saying. But it just seemed like they beat them way too easy. I mean, basically Grogu was just using the Force, which I like. Don't get me wrong, I like the part because Grogu's using the Force to snatch their weapons away from him. Den's fucking them up. I like that part, but it just seemed like it was too easy for him. It didn't seem hard enough. And Praetorian guards is dope.
And I'm
So that
sorry,
was kinda-
but I think there's a reason Disney wrote off the Darksaber like that. Because I'm gonna be honest, Disney has been very bad at like lightsaber combat. We have not seen like a good lightsaber duel from Disney.
That's because they ain't getting a master Maul to come in and teach people how to do it.
We have not seen a good live action lightsaber duel from Disney, and I think that's part of the reason they just got rid of the Darksaber.
Well,
They're like, we
we
suck
I think-
at
but
choreography,
honestly-
before we
hand-to-hand
jump into
combat.
this,
But honestly, I think they're about to rebuild the Darksaber. I think the Darksaber, the
Oh, yeah.
armor, that's going to be the first thing in Force
that's
she does.
God, that got exploded. There's
They're
no way.
Well, the
Well,
Kyber crystal's still
Oh, they'll
there.
make
The
a new
Kyber
one?
crystal might not destroy.
The armor, with her knowledge and her saying
They'll
about
make
how
a new one.
important it is and everything, there's no way she's not going to. I'm sorry.
Like,
I
that's
wanna
going to
pull up
happen
a
in season
scene.
4.
I want to pull up a scene I loved. It was a great nod. The hallway scene.
Not duel.
Yes.
It's not a
It was
duel.
Yes!
No, I want to pull up the hallway scene because it's a great nod to the hallway in Phantom Menace.
Yes, in the Duel of the Fates.
I
Wait,
loved
what?
that scene. When he's fighting the two guards at a time,
And
and he's
R5
telling R5 to open the next door.
Oh,
Next door. I
yeah,
love
yeah,
it
yeah.
because it's kind of like a
Yes.
challenge of champions kind of thing. And I was sitting
Well,
there
not only
watching
that, it nods. If you really think about it,
For
it
me, I
nods
was
to
like,
all
how
the,
convenient.
it nods to the Darth Vader scenes. It nods to the Phantom Menace scene when the things are blocked and, you know what I'm saying, Qui-Gon goes down and sits down and he waits, you know what I'm saying, before he attacks Maul, and then Obi-Wan can't go through. So that's another nod right there. There was a lot of, that was definitely a very good instructor scene that gave a good nod to all the other episodes. It
I
did.
loved that, and I loved that he was just sitting there and it was taking two on a time. Just boom, fucking takes two. Next door, opens the door, and you can tell those troopers were shitting themselves because they're watching this happen. They're like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh. And they're sitting there. You can see, like, if you watch in the background, you'll see a couple of them just kind of like shake a little bit, like, okay.
And after each one, it's like he levels up. He got a new weapon for the next level.
I love it. The shield, the blaster.
Oh
He started
my
with a
gosh.
knife
And not even
and ended
that,
with a shield.
not even that.
and
No,
blaster and then
he
two
started with
blasters.
nothing, then got a knife, then got a shield and sword thingy, then got a blaster. Like, he leveled up after each little mini level. Oh my gosh.
And then,
It-
like, and then it gets to that one, and he just doesn't even, like, he just pushes that one trooper with his shield and then just knocks him out. Like, I know how it feels to be wearing a helmet and to be hit in the head with a helmet and the, like, vibrating that kind of happens. Like, that dude got knocked the fuck out.
It's
I
not Red Dome.
love-
Hey, what's the name of that? Hold on. Before you go on, because I misquoted that. What's the name of the book where the Praetorian Guard they do goes from to train to be a Praetorian Guard? What's the name of that book, CJ? Me and you talked
Was that-
about it before.
Was it?
It's not Red Dawn.
I
No,
think
it's not
it
in Palpatine. No, it was
Red Dawn.
because he's
That's with the flipping invasion of America by the Russians.
yeah. But there's
North
a
Korea.
Star Wars book that's named Red Dawn too, but I can't remember the name of the book. Me and you talked about it, CJ. What the hell's the name? I just don't want to misquote everybody. Everybody go listen to the book or go watch the book, and it was the wrong fucking book, which I do that all the time. I'm sorry, y'all. I just suck. My brain is terrible. Well, and I'm on the edible, so. But no, I don't know. I don't know what the Damn, what's the name of that book?
Star Wars.
That's what I'm doing.
I don't know.
I'm looking it up.
I'll figure out which book it is, and I'll tell y'all on Saturday. I'll figure out which book it is, because there's a whole book that's about training for the Praetorian Guards. It's a guy. They find out. No, it's not. No, it's not Allegiance.
The guards made their first appearance in Tales of the Force.
Was it Tales of the Force? That's the New Republic book, though, ain't it? This was an Old Republic book. This was no, it wasn't an Old Republic, but it's a book that's something happens and this guy they figure out that he's force sensitive and they send him to be a Praetorian Guard. Oh man, I'll figure it out. Let's go on.
I
Okay.
honestly, I loved that the Darksaber was crushed. I'm gonna hop into this. I wasn't ready for it, but you fuckers started talking about it. I loved it. I think it's the end of the Darksaber. I think it's the end of the Darksaber era. I do because it's gonna open that door, Kyle. Where's Boba? He's not on Tatooine no more. If you remember at the end of Boba Fett, he says, "This isn't me. This isn't what I want to do." And Fennec says, "I'll go anywhere you need me to go." I'm thinking it's leading into that mask being found. How do you?
I gotta go back and look. I gotta go back and listen to the books, because doesn't he find it? Doesn't somebody have it?
I don't.
Somebody had it,
remember.
and I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the Mandalorian Wars books in order, because it's in the first book he finds it in the second book. He finds it in the second book when he's looking for his daughter. That's when he finds it. Because remember, he finds out in the first book that his wife was alive.
Yeah.
And he had a daughter, and then in the second book, he finds when he's looking for her, he finds Mandalore's mask. He becomes a Mandalore, but he finds out his body is failing. By the third book, he's looking for Nala Se in order to help him get to be able to regenerate himself or find new clone to be cloned over again.
Canderous took Tong's
No,
armor.
Canderous is in Red.
Kyle.
Yeah. That's
Red Harvest. That's it.
Way long time ago. That was. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's not. Because the Praetorian Guards don't come in the thing until the real Praetorian Guards don't come in to the thing until Palpatine, I think. I think it was Palpatine that had the first Praetorian Guard. So it's during the era that we're after Revenge of the Sith. So it's a book that happens within that time period. Because he has the Praetorian Guards. It's right after. No, it might even be. It's right after he becomes becomes not the Emperor, but becomes the Chancellor. That's when he has the Praetorian Guard thing, and then they look for people that are slightly force sensitive. And the dude that they find, he's like really force sensitive, and he's super strong, but he don't like the way that they're running shit, and he ends up going away. And like some people were saying that was Star Killer, and you know what I'm saying, and all this different shit. And I was like, dude, that don't even line up, but it kind of does, but it doesn't. So I'll find out which book it is.
So what were our favorite parts of the episode?
My favorite part was, there was a lot. There was a lot of things that I really liked. My favorite part, I would ultimately have to say my favorite overall part is when Grogu saves Mando, when he grabs the gun from the dude that was about to shoot him under the helmet.
No.
That was my favorite part.
I love that he's beating this guy's ass and hitting a button to talk shit. Like,
Yeah. Well, it was just because, really, in all reality, you didn't expect it to happen. Like, it was not something expected. I thought, really, because I told y'all, I thought that Dan was going to die. I thought he was going to die right there. The dude had him on the drop, had the gun going underneath the helmet, and the next thing you know, just in his hand twist back like that, like he was about to kill Dan. So it shocked me, and then it made me feel like, okay, that was a dumbass prediction, because I knew he wasn't going to die in the rest of it. Once he got saved right there, wasn't nobody else going to be able to beat him.
And then after Grogu is done talking shit with the button and beating the shit out of the other guy, he just sits there and sprays Mando down. And he's like, I'm good. I'm good. You can stop.
That shit was hilarious. I don't know. It was hilarious. It caught me off guard. It gave me that wow moment, and which there's other times I like the Darksaber getting destroyed. I did not expect that. I did not expect how dope the fucking armor is when she came flying down there with Bo-Katan. She was fucking the fools up with them hammers and shit.
Oh,
But there was so many good
no,
parts.
see, and that part right there, as she's flying in and I see the armor with that fucking thing on, I was like, oh, she really. And then she pulls her hands up. Her hands come into view, and you see the hammers, and I'm like, oh, she ain't about to just fly into motherfuckers with a hammer. And nope, she did.
It just brings me back to that. I don't know if anybody else besides us watched her interview with or her interview on Celebration. She comes out, and the table that they have is the forge, and it has actual like tools around it, not glued down. And the guy, I can't remember his name, but he was interviewing her, and she goes to like reach for one, and she picks ones up, and he's like, I thought they were put down. I thought I was told, they told me that they were gonna glue those down. What? No, you're my favorite person. Like it just brings that whole thing back of yeah, let's not fuck with her.
And honestly, the most heartfelt moment for me in the entire episode, another one is it warmed my heart up, is when Din adopts Grogu. When he truly says it in front of everybody, and he says, "This is my trainee," and you know what I'm saying, that's what gave me confirmation that they're gonna go, that this is continuing. Because now, and then when he goes to the rebel base and says, I'll pick up jobs, because he has to teach Grogu. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. It was a very heartfelt moment to me, because I didn't think he wanted that responsibility. I knew that he cared about Grogu, but I didn't think he really wanted that responsibility. It's kind of like, I don't want to be nobody's teacher. I'm not a teacher. I'm a loner. I'm the Mandalorian. I'm the loner guy. And then, for him to do that, then it kind of made me happy too, because you think about all of the fan art that's been coming out with the different Grogu with the helmet and all that stuff. It just kind of made all that feel really, really good. Like people wasn't full of shit. And at least I might not have been able to predict shit right, but at least people were predicting shit right, that he's going to actually become a Mandalorian. And now, basically, he is a Mandalorian. Because
the one thing that, like I said, I watched the episode with my sister-in-law, and the one thing, the armor was like, yes, now go put him, like, go on adventures with him and do the training and all of that. And we just look at each other and we're like he hasn't already been doing that.
Yeah, he's been doing that.
like this isn't
but now
a
it's
new
official.
quest.
What's gonna be crazy though is that he, in technicality, now that he is technically, Mandalorian, like full blown Mandalorian now, he's the next Jedi Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's the reason I think they're gonna remake the Darksaber. I just don't think they're gonna make it as big, and Grogu's gonna end up getting it. He's gonna have a dark
size.
I think it's gonna have the dark blade in it. And I think that's gonna really be awesome, because that ties in so much different stuff together. And then if he is in the movie with Rey, with Daisy Ridley, if he is in that movie with her, he's not a Jedi. He's gonna be a Mandalorian that can use the Force. That changes the whole dynamics of where that show could go. That makes me a lot more excited about that show, if the rumors is true that Grogu's going to be in there with Daisy Ridley. I think that's going to be, I think that's a good tie-in. I think it's a good way to get, and he'll be a teenager. Then it allows Din to be in it too. So, I mean, there's so many opportunities on the way that they could take this, and the stories that they could tell. If they get good writers in there and they actually have a beginning, a middle, and an end, I think that they could really do something spectacular. And I have a feeling that these next 3 movies, they're gonna set the bar really high, because other than Mandalorian and Andor, there's not much holding up the franchise at this point. So they need these movies to be really, really strong. And I'm pretty sure Ahsoka's gonna be good. I'm almost positive Ahsoka's gonna be good. I don't know too much about Skeleton Crew, and I don't know it. Well, I'm kind of on the border. I'm 50-50 when it comes to the Acolyte, because Acolyte looks like it's gonna be good. But at the same time, like I keep hearing, I just have mixed feelings about it. I don't know enough about it to give a good estimation.
I don't know. My hopes have kind of stopped being super high for everything.
No.
So I'd rather be pleasantly surprised than disappointed.
And I
So-
think that's one of the reasons that this episode, it surprised me because I thought I had it all figured out. I was like, dude, I already know what's going to happen. They're going to kill Den.
Which I'm
Bo's
glad it
gonna
did
ride.
surprise me.
Yeah, Bo's going to ride the Mythosaur. She's going to kill Moff Gideon. Grogu's going to get all super mad because Den got killed. Bo-Katan's going to take him under her wing. And, you know what I'm saying? Basically, that's what our prediction was last week. And I was completely surprised because none of the things that I thought was going to happen happened. And that made me happy. That made me really happy.
The ending was the same as we expected, though.
Well,
kind of the happy ending. Like,
well, I thought it was going to be left on a cliffhanger more. I thought it was going to be. I thought Den was going to. My initial reaction when I was thinking about it, I thought it was going to be like, we don't actually see Den dying, but he's dead. Like, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like they did us with Tech. I thought they was going to do something, or Bo, or it was going to be a main character. I thought a main character was going to die, and it was going to leave us right at that point. I thought it was Den personally. I thought it was going to be Den. But you know what I'm saying? It didn't do it, so I was kind of happy.
what was everybody
What's
else
going on in the chat? What's up, everybody? What's up, Chris? What's up, Star Wars team leader?
To go into the chat, team leader says slamming the ship in the base because that's what I would do if I was losing my ship. Take them with me.
That was
Lenny
good.
says, Dad, let me fix you.
What's going on, Lenny?
Victoria says, in the concept art, the armor had a huge badass blaster, lol. Hammers were still cool, though.
Victoria.
Chris says, she's new, but not new at the same time because she says, Kyle on an edible, best way to review the finale.
She's obviously watched us and now joined the chat. Well, we appreciate you in the chat.
No, it's Bodhi.
Oh, it's Bodhi?
Yeah, they said earlier it's Bodhi here.
Oh, okay, I did not see that.
So Bodhi is Victoria. He must be on his wife's
Yeah.
computer or
It
something.
was like, yeah, because he said, what's good, LSR? Bodhi.
Chris said, weapons are not a part of the armor's religion. Clinton says, hey, the armor had a jetpack. Chris thinks that the whole adoption bit was a little cringe.
It kind of was.
It kind of was, but it was still happening.
We all knew it was happening. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Bodhi's
I'm just glad it was
favorite-
official.
Bodhi's favorite spot was Moff's little speech about his clones being destroyed, trying to give himself the Force. Team leader says, I want to know why he didn't get his helmet since he didn't spoke up for. I'm assuming since he was spoken up for, I don't know.
He still can't. He has to be able to speak the Kree.
Yeah, he can't speak the Kree.
He has to be able to speak the Kree. He could be a trainee, but he's not going to get a helmet until he can say the Creed and she can pour the water on his head.
J-Dog says, I think Grogu will eventually get the Darksaber.
That's why I'm in agreement with that. I think they're going to remake the Darksaber with that crystal in it, and they're going to give it to Grogu.
Bodhi says Dave in the episode was out of pocket. LOL. Mans thinks he's Stan Lee. LOL. JK. And Clinton said misleading was heck.
Dave was in the episode at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was.
Misleading was hep. Was he?
Well,
misleading was he? Good lord.
So Dave came out at Celebration and said, I didn't want to be in the episode. John made me. I didn't want to be in any of the episodes.
I remember.
John made me. And I started laughing. I was like, that's fair. I loved it. I loved everything about this.
All right, so what do we rank it then? We're just
I'm gonna go
skipping
with 9.
favorite parts.
Are we skipping favorite part? What was your favorite
I
part,
don't know.
Garrison?
Oh, because we just got lost, so I was like, all right, my favorite
No,
part.
but you never said your favorite part.
Okay, my favorite part, probably like Din Djarin's like combat and him getting his ass whooped by Moff Gideon.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I always like it when the hero gets their ass whooped for a while before he comes back and wins. I always like that. It's the ideal.
Well, like I mean,
that's
part of it
all
was
action
good,
movies.
Part of it was bad. Well, like because like Din Djarin beat Moff Gideon earlier, but now Moff Gideon had this suit that like was obviously
it's like half
machined,
robot.
Yeah, and like enhanced. So I thought that was a
Yeah.
little dumb because I was like, all right, Star Wars Iron Man now. Like, all right.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember.
But I mean, part of it was good, part of it was bad. Well, like because like Din Djarin beat Moff Gideon earlier, but now Moff Gideon had this suit that like was obviously
It's like half
machined,
robot.
Yeah, and like enhanced. So I thought that was a little dumb because I was like, all right, Star Wars Iron Man now. Like, all right. But I mean, I liked how like it at least like dragged it out a little bit more. No, I think actually my favorite would be just Din Djarin fighting the troopers.
The choreography in it was
Yeah.
not bad. It was pretty good compared to some of the other episodes. Some of the other episodes was kind of like y'all didn't practice this very well. Some of them hits didn't even look close. But this one was pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, everything looked really. I don't know. All the battle scene. I was happy to see a lot of action. We haven't, the action's been sporadic during the season, and in the first two, there was a lot. In the first two seasons, there was a lot more action. So I think that was one of the things that kind of threw the season down because there wasn't as much action. It was very sporadic. But I mean, there was a lot. There was a whole lot of action going on, and it didn't look forced. It didn't look forced action to me. It looked like good overall action going on. People, everybody was dying on both sides. It didn't look like all the Mandalorians was just living and nobody was dying. The last episode was the same way. It was good in that fact that, what I'm saying, it was more realistic. It was like a real battle, and I appreciated that. I did. CJ, I don't think you.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
No, what was your favorite part? You never said your favorite part.
My favorite
Only-
overall part was when the
Yeah,
forge
I
was
said-
lit.
I said mine, and then Tori went after me, and then Garrison went. So
I think my favorite part was when the forge was lit and Bo-Katan says "For Mandalore," and nobody says anything until Axe says it again. When Axe says it in the crowd and the whole crowd of Mandalorians erupts, it was one of my favorite things. That was such.
Hey, did y'all talk about that? That shit was dumb.
Talk about
Did y'all
what?
talk about that? Him
What's
fucking
what?
flying to outer space in the fucking
Yes,
jetpack.
I did talk about it. I thought it was stupid.
That was the dumbest shit ever. Like, dude, this dude flew all the way to space on a jetpack. Shut the fuck up. That shit was the most. That shit was the most cringiest part in this whole thing. I was sitting there like, what the fuck? This dude flew to space in a jetpack. Shut the fuck up. You can't fly to space on a jetpack. You can't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a little bit outlandish. That was one part that I definitely disliked. I was like, this is
But my
outlandish.
logic makes sense.
It might make sense, but it's still stupid. I didn't hear what your logic was, but that shit was just like watching it. I was just sitting there the whole time. I was like, this is dumb. This dude is really gonna fly to space on a jetpack. They couldn't even fly like 100 miles away. This dude flying to space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
My logic is just, makes sense, but it's fine. It's fine.
All right, CJ, you put it as an 8.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree
explain
with
why.
CJ.
Sorry, we're going into
Oh.
that.
yeah, hurry up, cause I gotta go in the house right quick. I'm over here bullshitting. My grandkids is in there waiting on
What's
me.
up?
Kyle, you want to go first then?
Okay. I'm gonna probably say an 8 too. An 8 just because it had a little bit of everything. It surprised me. It made me use my imagination about some certain things. And there wasn't really enough stuff to make it like really bad. Like him flying outer space, that was just stupid. The droid going back and forth, that was a miss at it. And then that was only like the only two things that I really didn't like about the episode. It wasn't like everything else. It flowed, and I liked the way that it helped out. I mean, it started right off where the last episode left off at, and it just all flowed. Like the last episode and this episode flowed together seamlessly, and it just made everything make sense. The fight scenes were pretty cool. I didn't like the way the Praetorian guards got beat so easy, but I mean, that's just my opinion. They might have been sucky Praetorian guards. They sent them to like the garbage ones. But overall, yeah, I was saying 8. I like the way that it surprised it. I like that it proved me wrong. Because if everything would have happened, I would have gave it like a 3. If everything that we predicted came to true, I'd have gave it like a 3. Like, y'all are just stupid. This is getting all predictable and boring now. But for them to surprise me and John came through writing this one out, and I liked it. So mine's an 8.
All right, CJ
I said an 8.
said an 8.
I enjoyed it way too much. I honestly, I mean, between the fucking 30 Mandalorians flying in, just all I heard was that Valhalla song that plays in Thor, Yeah, that's all I heard when they were flying
Like
in.
Rise of the Valkyries or something.
Yeah. As either that or a Five-Finger Death Punch, This Is War, because the way it starts off, it's supposed to start a mosh pit with this song, because in the concert, he separates both sides, he'll say it, and then it just fucking, rah, right? That's how I felt. It was just right there. It was in it. I love that Grogu, I agree with Kyle, I love that Grogu saved Din, and then Din turned around and hooked Grogu up and saved Grogu. It was just a great, like, you know, I've always had your back, you've always had my back since the day we met, and that will never fucking change. You're my kid. And I love that they solidified that. It may have been slightly cringy. I don't like how they named him Din Grogu. It would have been more, it made more sense to me mentally if it would have went Grogu Din Djarin. That makes so much more sense to me. But why make sense, right?
The show had everything. It had heartfelt moments. It had surprise. It had character. It just had everything in it. So, you know, like I said, there was just not enough to complain about to be like, this is not.
I loved the fight between Bo-Katan, Mando, and Moff Gideon. I love
that took both of them to beat him.
Well, and I love that every time Mando was down, Bo went and would block something or get him. And then vice versa. It was back and forth. They took care of each other very well in that fight.
No. I gotta change my favoriteest part. My favoriteest part is when Grogu uses the Force to save them.
Oh yeah.
When the fucking shit blows off and he uses the Force shield.
It was a Kanan moment. That was such a good nod to Kanan. Him holding the
I don't know what it was about that moment. And then the way he just sits down huh, that was hard. I don't know. It kind of just brought everything together. Like everything that Din and Grogu had been going through, it brought it all together at that point. Like everything. Din saving Grogu, Grogu saving Din, back and forth. And, you know, because you got to think about it. How many times has Grogu saved Din using the Force? You know, he saved him from the rhino looking thing. He saved him so many times. You can't even count how many times in the last 3 seasons he saved him. And Din's always coming to his rescue. It just solidified all that when he saved them using the Force. It made it feel more like Star Wars to me. I really felt like this is Star Wars. This is what Star Wars is be about. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's all for one or one for all. That's just, you know, it just everybody's working together to create something better in this time period where you got the remnants of the Empire and the New Republic both being done. And Lenny, it's basically.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No. You're all right.
I was about to call out Lenny for a second. Mm-hmm. Lenny, that's wrong. First time we see Grogu use the Force is when he picks up the Mudhorn, when the Mudhorn was kicking Din's ass in the very beginning. And then the last time we see him use the Force, minorly, because we see a little bit hints and stuff. Because, the next time we see it is when he saves Grief Karga. And then the last time in the first season we see him use the Force is from, obviously, the what he said right there, using the Force and saved him from the fire.
And I don't know, it made that moment right there made it feel like Star Wars to me. Like seeing the Darksaber and all that stuff, and blasters and Mandalorians, it's Star Warsy. But when you really see the Force in real save everybody's ass, use the Force, that's what really makes it feel like Star Wars. And that's just my opinion.
That's a good point, actually. That might have been my favorite part. That actually was a good part. But CJ does have a good point that when the the armor and the Darksaber and they're flying through with the jetpacks, the Immigrant Song did come to mind. That's a good point. I would probably rank it. I think I'd probably go with the 7. I mean, I still like earlier in the episode, some of the problems I saw. I think it was an easy way out. It was kind of what's the quickest way we can write a happy ending to this? It just seemed to not super well thought out. It was the best they could have done with the season that they had, though. I think it was the worst season of Mando that we've had so far, and so they tried to do the best.
But we also got to remember that this whole thing was filmed during COVID, so you got to remember they're using a limited limited resources because you got less people there. You can't be around nobody. You got all these freaking rules. And I think it really showed how much the pandemic affected creativity.
No,
Because
because
other
it
two,
didn't start filming. It didn't start filming until the end of 2021.
well, we were still in the end of
We were still in pandemic.
2021.
Yeah, that's when it says it began filming.
We were still
So
closing
that
up
wasn't-
on the pandemic, though. I mean, hospitals still.
I don't know.
No, because
I don't think
the
it would've-
pandemic was kind of wrapping up.
But yeah, the pandemic was kind of like nobody even really cared about the shit by the end of well, no, 2021. You got to remember we're in 2023. So 2021 was kind of like the end of 2021 was when it was like shit was really fucking crazy. That's when they were shutting down all the studios and stuff. So
Yeah,
really
but,
for
I
them,
mean, it was pretty much over by like.
No,
Nah,
because
that-
no.
it was
didn't-
really over like middle kind of August of
22.
2022. We're in
Because I had-
2023 now.
Yeah, I had Cass February of 21, and it was before the pandemic hit. My nephew was born October of 21, and it was like height of.
I thought
pandemic.
2020 was when the pandemic hit.
Nope, 21.
It was 21. Okay, then
Yep.
I guess kind of see
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, you got to
That
remember
pandemic
they was
stupid.
they were it was a big waste of time. But you know what I'm saying, they were dealing with a lot of adversity, you know what I'm saying, trying to film stuff. You limited people can't be in a room, you got to wear a stupid mask, you got to do this, you got to do this, you know, it's a lot harder to do something, you know what I'm saying, when you have limitations. So I don't want to completely fault them. Now if next season comes out and it's just like this one, then yeah, I might have to really put it down. But I got to remember, you know, and the crazy thing is my wife is the one that said this when I'm bitching about certain shit when I'm watching stuff. She's like, dude, this was filmed during a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? What do you expect it to be perfect? And I was like, well, fuck, man, it's Star Wars. Everything's supposed to be perfect. But yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this crappiness that's been happening is because of, you got to look at the limitations that they can do. And you know what I'm saying? Who got to, you know, you could, and I thought about it, like, what if the only cameraman they could have got to film COVID had Tourette's? You know what I'm saying? But that's all they could get because everybody else had COVID at the time. You know what I'm saying? So this dude's over here. You know, like there's just too many variances. But I'm not sticking up for
Yeah,
Kenobi by
see,
no means.
he's right. COVID started in March. March
Yeah.
of 2020 is when the lockdown started.
January 10th of 2020 is when it like officially started, when, you know, the World Health
Right.
Organization spoke up about it.
Yeah, but we didn't go into lockdown until like March. Yeah, so
March,
2021, the end of 2021, was at least starting to relax.
January 20th was the first case in the U.S.
Yeah.
But it didn't start to get like bad and everything until August, so the end of 2020, and then it still continued.
Yeah, so it was
because
almost over
because
then.
I
It was
remember
almost
being in the
over by
hospital.
2020.
That's
Yeah.
because I remember being in the
2021.
hospital with Cass, and they weren't letting.
So,
know,
I mean,
other
but-
people in and all of that.
I mean,
stuff.
it really didn't get relaxed until 2022. 2022 was when everybody just
I
stopped
don't
giving a
know.
fuck.
Because Addison and I got married in 2021. We were like things were pretty much going back to normal by that time.
Yeah, you're right. You are right. I don't know. But, like, but no, a 7 is a good score. That was my original thing, but then the more I think about it, the more I like the episode, so I had to raise it up a little bit. So that's why I went with 8.
All right.
What do you think, Tori?
Tori, yep.
So I was off dealing with Cass. So what officially is the topic that we're talking about outside of?
What did you rate
rating
it?
Oh, I'm gonna go a solid 9. I
Nine?
thoroughly enjoyed it.
I see. So that gives us.
My sister is trying to take a shower, and she just popped out, and she's like, especially the end. I loved the end.
Okay. So that gives us the LightSaber Radio season average for our entire thing was 6.6.
The season average was 6.6.
Yeah, if we averaged
Yeah,
up
that's
all
about-
our scores. The whole season was about 6.6,
That's about right. I would give it a 6.6.
which
It's almost
just
a
for
7.
comparison. Just for comparison, the last season of Bad Batch was 6.3, and then Andor we ranked a 7.6.
I mean, at least we're consistent.
Yeah, I would say like a 6.5, 7 for this season of Mandalore. I
I'd
wish
rank
we.
it. I mean, if I were to do the whole thing, I mean, my average was a 5 personally.
What was my average?
Let me look. I have to calculate it real quick using Excel
Why don't you just use a calculator?
because it's faster in Excel.
No, I think overall it wasn't the best season, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't Boba Fett bad. It was, you know what I'm saying. It was a decent season. There was some fluff in there, but there always is. Anything that's on TV, they put fluff. They got to fill spots. So you know what I'm saying. Overall, 6.5 because 6.6 is basically a 6.5.
Yeah, Kyle, you were right at 6.5.
Yeah, that's what I would rate the whole season at. Because what I rated Boba Fett a 4, right?
I don't have Boba Fett's on here.
Yeah, I think it was
That was
a 4.
before I started doing this whole Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, I think I voted Boba Fett at a 4, and I did a 5 point. I think because I got mine down on my computer at home, if I remember correctly, I rated Kenobi a 5.5. I don't remember the Bad Batch. Boba Fett was a 4, and then Andor was like a 7.5 is what I rated it. Because I try to rate what I think the season's going to be before it starts, and then I
Right.
go through the rating of each one, and then at the end, I try to rate it again to see if I was close to predicting what was going to happen.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Travis. We have.
I gotta go, everybody.
All right.
Everybody, peace. I will see y'all Saturday because we got a show Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yeah, we're watching.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Yep. We're
Yep.
doing the Revenge of the
So,
Sith on
the Sith
Sunday.
watch party. So
Right.
I will see you guys on Saturday. Everybody, peace. Stay outrageous. May the force be with you.
We'll see you, Kyle. All right. Is CJ coming back, or is that about it?
I'm not entirely sure. Were we wanting to do news and anything like that, or were we wanting to wait until Saturday?
Yeah. Do you have any news? I didn't really have any news for this one. This was mainly just Boba Fett or Mando stuff. I don't know why I keep calling it Boba Fett. But this was mainly Mando stuff. Yeah,
Thank you,
lots of
Travis,
news
really
about
quick.
Mandor.
Really quick, Travis, thank you. We have a cool little Mandalorian setup, bounty hunter setup. We have Boba Fett, and then shelves of things, and we got a cool bounty hunter box that was signed by Boba Fett himself. Well, young Boba Fett, not Tem, but yeah. Travis also says the season lacked that aesthetic variety with each episode that was present in the first 2 seasons. Each episode in those had its own flavor, where season 3 all seemed to be in the same location. I mean, that's that.
Wow. I found a piece of news that's pretty big. So the upcoming Jedi Survivor sequel to Fallen Order, it's supposed to be 147 gigabytes on PS5.
Oh, Jesus.
That is huge.
Yeah.
So I hope you have a fucking tip-top memory
and I hope
or
you
storage
have
for your
7 hours
your
for those
PS5.
updates.
Jeez, dude. That's huge. That's just the early reports. Hopefully it's less, but damn.
Mando season 4, since it has already been written, because Dave says that he wrote it in fear of a writer's strike, so they wanted to write it before the writer's strike. They are set to start filming October, with the pre-production props and set hires currently already being made. So that means
For which show is this?
for season 4 of Mando. So
Okay.
they are looking to start filming. Filming is going to begin in October, which means that we're looking for a next year release, which we already knew, but it's probably going to be around May of next year.
All right.
Tales of the Jedi
I'm still.
Season 2.
Yeah.
Tales of the Jedi Season 2 gets a release date too.
Okay.
Well, a release date window. It's currently in production and set to release next year, so we are getting a new season of that.
It's
The animated series joins the second season of Andor and the Acolyte as on-screen 2024 releases.
sometime in 2024.
Yeah.
We on a lot of Star Wars in the next couple of years, so we're not gonna
Well, oh yeah, we're
be
not
too
gonna
lonely.
be.
I'm
we're
still
not gonna
just
be
mostly excited for that Ubisoft Star Wars game.
neglected. Oh, me too. My sister
We're not gonna be too
already told
sad.
me that. Well, that and team leader did say, since I don't have CJ here to tell me all of my toy stuff that I forgot. The new Chopper Pop figure, the pre-orders have started, so if you're a huge droid fan like myself and you really need Chopper in your collection, hey, get on top of those pre-orders. I did see that Yak Face posted a couple things about toys. Let me go over to that really quick. Hey, Yak Face. So there is a new Hot Toys figure, and it is Ahsoka holding Baby Yoda. There is a new vintage collection, Boba Fett in his Tusken Raider outfit, and R5 now available for pre-order as well. And a Black Series R5.
Called. There you go. Of course. I mean, you have R5. He's going to become a lot more popular. It's just marketing, dude. Genius.
There's a new Black Series Mandalorian Fleet Commander in Black Series as well. And of course, now available on Amazon, if you're a huge helmet collector like we are, Black Series, the Ahsoka Battalion, their helmets have released on Amazon.
Okay. On Amazon. All right. Travis said, I did really enjoy the season. Felt the finale was actually better than that of season 2. And I actually loved the Jack Black episode, as it was the first episode to feel fresh and different. It did feel different. I will give you that. It was different.
Like I said, when we did the whole episode and all of that, I hadn't seen it until like right before the show. And CJ's like, yeah, no, there's Jack Black and his wife is Lizzo and Doc Brown is the evil guy and blah blah blah. And I looked at him, I feel like you had a fever dream. Like you had a dream and you're actually telling me what happened in your dream. Like you're fucking with me right now. And no shit, it was very different to it was very nice and fresh to get that new episode. It was pretty awesome. And hey, I love Jack Black, so who doesn't love Jack Black? You're a communist if you don't like Jack Black.
All right. Well,
anyway,
that's all. Is there anything else? Any other news?
Not off the top of my head. I just did a quick glance though, so if I missed anything, I'll have it for you on Saturday.
There we go. That sounds good. All right. Well, I guess that's it for this week's Mandalorian review. The Mandalorian season is over. We'll miss it. Hopefully it's gonna
stopped.
Hopefully season 4, at least in my opinion, is gonna be better. But we're all looking forward to it regardless.
Oh yeah.
So I guess with that said, thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And may the Force be with you.
And make good choices.
Of course.
Thank you for tuning in to LSR. If you've enjoyed the show, consider subscribing so you can be notified when new episodes are released. If you would like to be a guest on the show or just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us. You can also reach out to us on all major social media platforms. LightSaber Radio is produced by PicFilm Media and is a Swaycast original, starring Garrison Turcott, CJ Elliott, and Kyle McDaniel. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in a galaxy far, far away.